Carrie Bradshaw YouTube channel. In this video, I am recapping episode 4 of Bridgerton. This is where things really start to heat up and get spicy. Little bit of housekeeping, as you notice. Again, I'm in a different background. It is snowing here in New York, so the heat for my building has kicked on a little bit early, and when my radiator in my other room comes on, it sounds like a transformer coming to life, and I don't want to put y'all through that. So today's background is my quiet radiator in my bed. So episode 4, we're almost halfway through the season. Again, y'all know I already binge watched the whole thing over Christmas break with my mama. Don't judge me, I have little to no self-control when it comes to TV, but I went to go back and recap the whole season with you guys. In episode 4, first of all, rewatching the show has really given me an opportunity to pick up on some things that I missed the first time, and we'll get to some of those things later in the season. But this episode is where things really start to heat up and start to take form, so let's jump right in because it is juicy and soapy and dramatic, and everybody is doing the most, and I'm here for it. So per last episode, Daphne pulled her stunt at the ball, at the function, and she is the toast of the town, and so the prince has invited her to the palace, much to the delight of the queen, who was here for the mess anyway. And Prince Friedrich said, if you love her, Dior her. He's on his trick and shit. He's like, let me spend some money so you can really see how serious I am about you. He gives her this beautiful necklace, but all she can think about, all Daphne can think about, is the Duke. And I mean, we know why. That, you know, there was a spark there. Was it all for show? Sure, but a part of it was real. They started to really have feelings for each other, guys. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys right now, even though, again, I've seen the whole season, I really prefer the prince over the Duke for Daphne, not for me. For me, the Duke all day, but for Daphne, I really prefer the prince. You know, later on in the episode, we see they have so much in common. You know, he has these really strong familial ties, just like Daphne does, and you know, he wants to have kids as long as his wife is amenable, which you really don't hear during that time period, or even now, to be quite honest. A lot of guys saying that, you know, if my wife is okay with it, and he's just this gentle soul who just seems to really like her, but her mind is always elsewhere every time they get together. So you kind of looking at the prince like, sweetie, what do you see in her? What's she doing for you? Because you can't tell, you know. So after this, again, this is a Will Mondrick stan account. I'm obsessed with that beautiful man. And we have a lot to unpack in this episode, so if I jump around a bit, stay with me. We'll have to pull over a few times to get some of the plot from the ancillary characters, the B and the C plot, but stick with me. I'm gonna make this as quick as I can because these episodes are like movies, basically, so stick with me. Will and Simon are, you know, practicing, and Simon is letting Will know, I have to make a hasty exit. See what I did there? He's the Duke of Hastings. He wants to make a hasty exit. It's funny. Anyway, and Will and his wife are like, you can't leave. We have a boxing match. You know, Will and his wife are not a part of the gentry. They're a part of the working class. Will makes his money being a boxer, and he needs Simon to be there so more people will bid on him. And at this point, he's not really slated to win. A lot of people aren't really betting on him. So they're like, can you put your pride to the side? We got shit to do, you know. And I really enjoy how Will's wife is not a quiet wallflower. You know, they have wit and this banter, and it's like, don't nobody got time for that shit. We got money to make. We have to put food on the table for our kids. Like, you know, and you can tell too that Simon has a little bit of, not jealousy, but I think a little bit of sadness that he does not have this family unit that they have. And I think seeing Will and his family kind of makes Simon want that a bit, despite what we came to find out last episode, which is that he made this promise to his dad that he would not produce another heir, you know, despite him for being an ain't shit ass person. So right here, we got to pull over to the side. Lady Featherington is really trying to push Miss Thompson onto Lord Rutledge, who, could you imagine being a young woman waking up to that? Ain't enough money in the world. I understand Marina's in a tight position here, but ew. The thing is, Lord Rutledge kind of knows her situation, doesn't really need for her to be unspoiled. He just needs wife and an heir. Like, he don't really even care about all that stuff. So arguably, is this a good match for Marina? Sure, but Marina ain't really with the shits. She wants someone better. And this is where I started to kind of like not too tough like Marina anymore, because you now have to be realistic. For all you know, your actual baby daddy has abandoned you. You don't get to be picky. You've seen what life is like for single mothers out here. Y'all gonna be living in the gutter. You need to take what you can get. And I say that as a feminist who just doesn't want you to be homeless. You don't have any options during this time period. Do what you gotta do. And also, I thought this was really cute. I don't know if you guys picked up on it. Lord Finch came to show interest as a suitor for Philippa Featherington, and I thought it was really cute. A finch is a bird. They're the Featheringtons, feather bird. I thought it was cute. Anyway, they are both so goofy, and I just thought, what a cute little match. And we find out later that Lord Featherington is on some bullshit, but we'll get there. So let's pull back over. Eloise has decided in her boredom and her desire not to be presented, you know, for courtship, that she wants to find out the identity of Lady Whistledown. And she ends up getting read for filth later in the episode because she thinks that, oh, it must be one of the housekeepers or one of the lady maids. And the lady maid is like, girl, don't nobody got time. All the shit y'all got us running around doing. You think that we really have time to write this much about your life? Like, y'all aren't that interesting to us. Like, fuck off. And I really loved how she gathered her, because first of all, don't be going through people's stuff. Like, the entitlement, the privilege. Like, Eloise really thinks that she's so much better than the girls who want to be married and who have made that their sole purpose. But you're also kind of an asshole, so like, keep it cute, sweetie. So we get to the boxing match. Another stunt. I'm here for it. Daphne is showing the prince. Well, the prince invited Daphne to the boxing match via Anthony, who is kind of catching on to the fact that, like, he needs to take a bit of a backseat in terms of decision making for Daphne. And, you know, at the behest of the prince, he brings Daphne, and Daphne is showing the prince, like, I'm not shy, I'm not a wallflower. I can, you know, get with the shits too. You know, girls are not as delicate as you think they are. And she also knows that Simon is gonna be there. So Simon and Daphne are both getting distracted by each other. And just as a side note, it is sometimes really attractive to see when dudes get really into sporting events. Not when they start raging and throwing shit and all that stuff, but like the excitement and like you know, it's kind of do a little bit for me. I don't know about y'all, but anyway, let's see. Y'all know I have my notes, don't judge me. So this is where we see Lord Featherington is a bit of a gambler. Lord Featherington is in debt, okay? People want their coins, and he's like, give me a couple of days to gather up the funds. He ain't got the funds. We'll get back to that. So, pulling over to the side, ancillary character development. The second son, Benedict, if you recall, last episode or the episode before that, he kind of shaded this artist, Henry Granville, about some of his paintings. Benedict really wants to be an artist, and the benefit of being a second son is that you don't have the expectation that the first son has to create an heir and to carry on the family name. You can be a little bit freer with what you do with your life, right? So he really wants to be an artist, but he's having a hard time really, I guess, finding the inspiration or really, you know, expressing it or whatever. So So these two form a bit of a friendship, and Lord Granville is also a second son, so they have that bit of a connection. He invites him to his studio. It's naked ladies, they're painting, you know, people are discussing different things, and I just love how he was kind of scandalized by it, but also this is finally his opportunity to be a little bit free. And I think he might have smoked a little bit of weed. It was very cute. Like, go Benedict, love that for you, honey. So the prince asks Antony for permission to propose to Daphne, and this is also following a conversation that he had at the gentleman's club with Simon, where he says, you know, I shouldn't have questioned your intentions. You know, Daphne is now, you know, the toast of the town. You're leaving. I hope one day we can laugh about this. Blase, 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 blah. So Antony comes home to report this to his mom and to his sister, and you can see that Daphne is a little bit hesitant because in her heart she still really wants it to be the Duke, and Lady Violet also wants her to hold out hope for the Duke as well. So they're talking about this necklace, but it's coded language where she's actually talking about the prince, and Daphne ends up having to confess because Lady Violet is like, no, I saw you and Simon together. Y'all had a bond. Don't give up hope. But Lady Violet does not know that Simon shooed Daphne the hell off. So Daphne has to come clean that it was a ruse and it was all fake. But mamas be knowing, just like, girl, your feelings was real and I know what the hell I saw, but I'm here for you too. So I thought that was really sweet, and it was also kind of like heartbreaking too, because you know what they both want, but you know, sometimes things just don't work. And again, I still say, girl, please be happy with the prince. Like, y'all got more in common. He want what you want. You know, you like what he like and you like. And what did the OJ say in that song? Anyway, so Lady Danbury is telling Simon as he's packing up this whole house to leave, and he sees the painting and it reminds him of his connection with Daphne. And Lady Danbury is like, you are a complete fool. This is not how I raised you to be. Love is not this frivolous thing that you write it off to be. And this is where they finally address the race issue. Now, let me say this. People did take an issue with the way Lady Danbury expressed almost like this stamp of approval that they got from the king marrying a black woman. And she phrased it something like, you know, love changes everything, because ever since the king looked upon one of us and decided that we were more than, you know, a novelty or more than a this or a that we have been elevated to a place in society, love can change things. Simon's retort, though, I find it interesting that people got really caught up on that, but didn't. We tend to do this thing where we don't read the sentence all the way through to the end or read the chapter of the book all the way through to the end, metaphorically speaking. Simon's retort was, that man has lost his mind. People who are in love are fickle. If he up and decides that he does not want to be with that woman anymore, number one, a person who is sane is fickle and can change their mind about what they want. But a person who is losing their mind, which is what the king is rumored to have lost his mind, he could up and decide that he no longer wants that woman, and then we're already in a precarious situation. We're hanging by the thinnest of threads, you know, based on his mental state. All of that could go to shit. So love doesn't change but so much. We were novelties to them then, and we're still in kind of a precarious situation with them now if the king up and decides that he no longer wants his black woman. So I thought that was really interesting that Simon said, you know, speaking some truth to it, where it's like, yeah, for now, you're basically saying that our survival as people of color is contingent upon these people's marriage. That's not safe. You know, fair points were made. So they go to, it's another function. Again, it's the social season. So they're at Lady, I swear it said Trowbridge, but it sounded like people were pronouncing it Throwbridge. This new widow, she has these like very like fancy hypersexualized parties. There's burlesque, there's, you know, whatever, but high society approved burlesque, because if it was too crazy, then people wouldn't be there. So, Lady Violet is getting wasted. She's stressed out about Daphne. City girl Sienna is here performing, and Antony is obviously quite taken with her, so she tries to introduce her to a high society lady, and it's not working. So Lady Violet is taking it to the head. She's getting wasted. These kids are stressed out. Not out at. Lord Featherington runs Mr. Finch, Lord Finch, the hell off, and what we find out later is because he has squandered away the girls' dowries. So that means that even if, you know, he obviously wants to marry Philippa, but that would mean that if that marriage were to take place, Lord Featherington would have to pay that dowry. He ain't got no damn money. And Lady Featherington comes to find this out later in the episode when she flips through his ledgers, and she's like, this is why you ruined our daughter's engagement. What you gonna do to fix it? We find out later in the season. So things really heat up a bit. Colin, the youngest, the baby, Bridgerton brother, he comes to the rescue of Marina Thompson when she's, you know, dancing with this horrible older gentleman, much to the chagrin of poor Penn, who is just in love with him. And then the prince tries to make his move with Daphne, and Daphne is just overwhelmed, honey. She can't handle it. She runs outside. She takes off the necklace. I've always found it really stressful in movies and TV shows when they just rip necklaces off. Girl, don't do that. That's a perfectly good necklace. You just gonna mess with it? No, gently take it off. And is it really suffocating you just that much? The drama, honey, drama. So this is where shit gets intense. So she sees Simon while she's dancing with the prince. This just sends her over the moon. She can't handle, she don't even want to hear this proposal. She needs to go outside and gather herself. And Simon comes outside to say goodbye. And she's like, oh, don't talk to me now. Don't try to talk to me now. I just think it's real funny how. And, you know, Simon chases her into the garden and grabs her and kisses her passionately, which had all of us in the audience just like, oh, I wish somebody would take me passionately in a garden, child. Anyway, and Antony runs up on them, and Antony is like, you will marry my sister, because what you're not gonna do is dishonor her like this. I don't care if y'all got caught up in the heat of the moment or not. Somebody could have seen y'all. Now she's ruined. You don't ruin my sister's life. And Simon is like, listen, I can't marry her. And Daphne is like, well, damn, bitch, you can't. Why did we do all this? You could have left me alone. And Antony decides that the only way to restore his sister's honor is with a duel. Two things. Duels are illegal. And number two, somebody gonna die in a duel. Okay? So if Simon dies, then Antony has to leave the country because he'll be a criminal. This means that he'll be free to be with city girl Sienna. So he rolls up through, you know, to Sienna's house like, girl, I done found a way out. Like, you know, tomorrow morning we can leave. We can have whatever kind of life you want to have. Now, why would you go to her with this plan half-cocked? You don't know what you're going to end up doing. You done set her up for failure. Like, let this be, just let's pull up to the side, okay? Simon is confused, so he done confused Daphne's life and caused all kind of chaos and confusion. Antony is confused about who he wants to be, so he done caused all kind of chaos and confusion in city girl Sienna's life. Don't let these dudes and their personal confusion confuse you. You know what the hell you want, okay? You know who the hell you want. Don't be afraid to let go. I pray that we are all released from the bondage of a scarcity mindset where we think that we gotta hold on for dear life to whatever man will have us. Hell no. You know what you want, and if he ain't bringing it to the table, let him go. Anyway, back to the story. That was my little bit of IRL. We just need to have a quick discussion. Anywho, I don't want to be responsible with these stories. You know, we always need to kind of bring it back. Anywho, so they decide they're going to have this duel. Cressida, jealous ass, hints at the fact that she saw them in the garden. I'm sick of Cressida. So at this point, somebody need to marry Cressida just so she can get off our back. Her and her forehead. Find you something better to do, ho. Anywho, Eloise and Penn have a little falling out, but Penn is devastated that Marina is into the little baby Bridgerton Colin, and she knows that Marina will basically be trapping him and like setting him up. And even though Penn is really quite in love with Colin, she also just doesn't want to see him get set up like this and be lied to in this way, which is fair. Like, that's your homeboy. You don't really want to see that. So she's devastated. Eloise done showed up like, girl, I got updates, and let this be a lesson to you too. Don't be popping up on your friends without asking them how they doing first, because you don't know what she had going on and you trying to tell her some shit she not even interested in. So Penn snaps and she's just like, girl, I got grown-up problems. I'm really not trying to hear nothing about this, okay? We see why later, but also... So poor Eloise, who already feels like nobody understands her except for Penn. Now she feels like no one in the world understands her. So, oh, poor, poor Eloise, who, I'm sorry. Am I supposed to believe that a girl is younger than Daphne? I question the casting there. Let's see, where are we? Oh, so the duel is taking place. Daphne is on a horse, riding through the English moor. Shit gets stressful. It gets, things get heightened. Of course, she rolls right up in the middle of the duel, which, think it through. Don't do that. Don't do that. IRL, don't get in between two people who are dueling. Anywho, what I thought, me and my mom both thought, because this is how our minds work and how we've been just socialized and battered and bruised with the way that black men are treated. We just knew that the bullet was gonna somehow have mistakenly hit Will. We was like, I bet you this done killed Will some kind of way. He done got killed because he done got dragged out here to a duel that ain't got nothing to do with him. Fortunately, the bullet didn't really, I don't think the bullet went anywhere. I can't remember, but Daphne, says, let me talk to Simon. Simon confesses to her, the reason I can't marry you is because I know that you want children and I can't give you children, and I would not take that away from you. I know that that's what you want out of life. And Daphne is like, I am ruined. Like, I will be ruined. I will be shunned. No one will ever marry me. Like, then what will become of my life? And Simon is like, but I know that ultimately you don't want to live a life where you can't have children. And the thing is, if Cressida lets the tea spill that she saw her being, defiled in the garden, nobody will marry her and she won't be able to have kids anyway. So leading Daphne to be like, oh, it's fine, he gonna marry me. And Simon is like, I am. So that's how this episode ends. Again, this is when the season really starts to heat up. We're halfway through, so I will be back for episode 5. And let me know what you guys thought of this episode in the comments. I don't know if y'all have theories, if you want to do a little spoiler, just highlight it or whatever, say spoiler alert, so we don't ruin it for anyone who didn't see the whole season like the rest of us did. But let me know what you guys thought. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, send me some money if you so feel inclined by becoming a patron. The link is in the episode description, and I'll talk to y'all soon.